Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm here today with my friend Simon Sandall, who was born in England but has spent most of his career here in Australia. But he knows a thing or two about British food, and today we're going to make beef Wellington. And one of the most important parts of the beef Wellington is the mushroom Duxelles. Is that right, Chef?
That's correct. Well, it's one of the important parts. There's a couple of important parts, but it's definitely...
We've got to get this right.
We've got to get this right.
Okay, so how do we make mushroom Duxelles?
Okay, very, very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to start with, you've got some beautiful little cap mushrooms here. Make sure they're clean, brush off any dirt, etc., etc. Chop them into, bite-sized pieces. We're going to transfer them to the thermo blender just to roughly chop them because you don't want to be chopping too much with your hand.
We like shortcuts.
We do. Then we're going to finely dice some brown onion, sweat that off in some beautiful olive oil, some lovely fresh thyme that's been picked here. Put it all together. We're going to fry it all off. We just want to extract some of that moisture from the mushrooms, put some salt and pepper, get some flavour. Remember, caramelisation is good. And then we're going to let that cool and wrap it around the beef.
We'll be ready to go. All right, I'm going to pop these in the food processor and you can start chopping, Chef.
Let's do it.
So there we are. I've blitzed that up in the food processor. There's a few chunky bits in there, Chef. Does that matter?
Oh look, if they're too big, let's
big.
just chop them up. But look, a bit of texture in it is actually quite nice.
Okay.
And as they stew down, or we're frying them off, you just have that beautiful texture throughout it.
All right, so if we get ones that haven't blitzed at all, we'll give them a quick chop. Yep. But if we've just got little bits in there, we're going to leave that in for texture.
Yep.
Awesome. And mushroom Duxelles. Okay, so I know it as something we wrap around beef Wellington.
Yep.
What else can you do with it?
Oh look, you know what? You could take this recipe quite easily, and you'll have puff pastry as well, and you could actually make some beautiful little mushroom and goat's cheese pastilles. Cut a disc of the puff pastry. Mix some of the mushroom once it's all cooked and got that beautiful flavour. Put some goat's cheese and maybe a little bit of Pagana cheddar through there, just so it becomes all gluey once you bake it. Put it in some puff pastry, fold it, seal it with some egg wash, brush it, and then just bake them in the oven. They'll be absolutely divine.
There's an extra recipe for you. Okay, onion.
Done. I'm going to go
love watching chefs chop onions because they do it so much better than I do.
As long as we don't cut ourselves, we're fine.
And everyone seems to chop an onion just a little bit differently.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, everyone I've seen does it differently.
I'm fine with watching onions being chopped, but one thing you don't want to do when you're doing an onion is try and slice it that way. You've got to go with the grain, because that will stop your eyes from watering.
There's the tip.
Have you ever had that flavour of that metallic-y sort of flavour you get from onions? That's because you cut it
the wrong way.
Because you cut it the wrong way. So basically, just mind your fingers.
Okay. You make that look so easy, but there's a lot of years of practice behind that, isn't there?
Years of practice. So cut it like this. You can go as many or as little as you like.
The old hold it with your.
Yeah,
not so easy with nails.
You start to get a bit of a flat space on your finger after a few years of doing this. You also look. We still cut ourselves. Chefs still cut themselves
and burn themselves.
Themselves. That's the fun of cooking. I like to use a lot of the onion. As long as you haven't got that little bit of the stalk in there. Yep. Which this hasn't. I chop it all up.
Waste not, want not.
Waste not, want not. So we'll do that. And then if you've got, again, like the mushrooms, if you've got any chunky bits, just run your knife through it, like this.
I think British food, like every original cuisine, is founded on waste not, want not, isn't it? 100%. You would have learnt that from your English granny. I learned it from my Scottish granny.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I learnt it more from my father, to be honest. My father was a phenomenal cook.
Really?
Yeah, he was amazing. And you know what? He never used to use recipes. Everything was freestyle from the cupboard. Look, we didn't have much money when we were growing up. I've got 5 brothers and sisters, and there was a lot of mouths to feed. So
people learn to be frugal and make a little go a long way.
Absolutely. And some of the things that I remember is the soft cod's roe that you get in Europe. And I'll tell you what, you used to pick it up for next to nothing, but that fried, poached in milk with some garlic and thyme, and that fried, toss it through flour, put it in some butter, fried, put on some of my mum's homemade bread that we toasted. Oh my God.
We'll talk about more about that in your interview.
Absolutely.
Let's cook. Okay, so now to the stove?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we've got a beautiful hot pan here, Roberta. We're just going to take some of this lovely olive oil. We're going to pop that in. We've got some onions that we've diced here. Get all your onions in there.
It's good and hot, isn't it?
It is. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir. So with the onions, we just want them to go to a nice and translucent. Very important. A lot of people miss this step out, is put in salt when your onions at the beginning, because this helps to establish flavour, because it pulls all the liquid out and helps get that caramelisation. So we only want a little bit. We just a little bit of caramelisation and the onions nice and translucent. A little bit of salt and pepper. Well, we've done the salt, but we're just going to add some pepper. And then to that, we're going to add thyme, because we want that to get a big burst of flavour throughout there.
When I made this, I couldn't believe the difference the thyme made. The aroma that you get once that thyme hits the hot pan.
Herbs are essential.
So good.
To that, you can smell that. It's absolutely incredible. We're going to add the mushrooms.
Got you?
Yep. And we just want to stir that, cook that down over a medium to high heat, just to get some beautiful bits of flavour running throughout the mushrooms here.
So that's going to take a few minutes.
It'll take about 3 to 4 minutes, yeah. Okay, as you can see from the mushrooms, what will happen is you're starting to cook them. It will actually release all the water and liquid from the mushrooms. So don't be afraid of that. Over a high heat, keep stirring, and just until we start to get rid of that moisture. And what that will do is actually reduce and condense the flavour profile of the mushrooms. Okay, as you can see, the Duxelles coming on beautifully. You can see there's a nice bit of caramelisation around here on the side of the pan. This is what you're looking for. What we don't want to do is take it too far. We do need to keep a little bit of that moisture in there, because that will help us sort of wrap it around the beef Wellington once it's cooled down. But all that, you can see all that beautiful sticky caramelisation. That is flavour.
So is that our key? Is it fair to say that once we see it start sticking like that, we're pretty close?
I think we're pretty close there, yeah. And you just want to scrape all that off,
yes,
because that's all the flavour that we want into the mushroom. So I think we're nearly there. We can take this off and let it cool down.
Awesome.
Okay, so we've got this beautiful Duxelles here. The flavour and the smell that's coming off.
I wish you could smell it.
Oh, it's incredible. Incredible.
And it's the thyme.
It's the
mushroom.
mushroom, yeah. And you get that, and seasoning it nicely, it's just amazing. You get to smell that caramelisation. So we're going to give it one last quick stir, get all them sticky bits off there, and then what I'm going to do is grab that off, because we don't want to waste anything, and we're literally just going to put this on a plate just to cool it down. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of moisture in there, and that will help us glue it around the beef so that we're better.
So here we have mushroom Duxelles.
Yep.
As you said, we can make it the day before.
Yep.
We can leave it out to cool. If you're in a hurry, we can pop it in the fridge to cool.
Yep. Or you can put like a couple of little lines for it just to help it breathe a little bit more.
Okay.
Airflow.
We're going to wrap it around beef Wellington today, but we can make those gorgeous little pies. We could put it into what do you call vol-au-vent cases?
Vol-au-vent cases.
And you mentioned mixing it with chicken to make dumplings?
So you could make like a rustic chicken mousseline or something, and then put them in some little wonton wrappers and do some dumplings, or make your favourite little pasta.
Britain is very multicultural.
It is very multicultural.
Okay, into the fridge with this for now.